Hi, Maureen. It was really nice to meet you today and meet your family and spend time with your lovely grandchildren. Thank you so much for having a ShelfGenie appointment. I really appreciate the time to get to come in and try to help you find some solutions for problems you're having in your kitchen. So let's go over some of the things that we talked about today, and then we'll go over the quotes. I did 4 different quotes for you. Quote A is everything kind of exactly how you want it. Quote B is everything how you wanted it, plus the drawer insert, which I don't think you wanted. I'm pretty sure you said you didn't want it, but you wanted to know the price. So I did that so you would just know the price. Quote C is the glide outs to the left of the stove, and then the option of leaving the space open right here in your cabinet to the right of the refrigerator and just having white glide outs in there. And quote D is the same thing, but giving you a deeper glide out for more support for things like lids and loose things that might be in those glide outs. So let's just kind of go over everything one at a time. So starting with the cabinet to the left of your stove, we talked about putting just 2 glide outs down here for your canned goods. We had a single glide out that will be independent of the one below it, which we decided to put a double. So you could put things like boxes of pasta or extra jars of olive oil or things like that that may need a little extra support as the glide out goes back and forth. That's why we decided to put a double. Now, we talked about having the drop-in divided custom insert for the utensils in the drawer. However, they are not changeable. So I don't think this is a solution that you are really looking forward to, but you asked for the price anyway. So the price will be on quote number B, quote letter B, sorry. Then moving over to the space where your refrigerator used to be, that we decided let's put a shelf in there so you have some extra storage space, and that's something that Carl was willing to do for you if you went ahead with your order for the other things. Now, your other biggest concern was the cabinet right to the right of your refrigerator, and we have 3 different options that we can look at. The most finished option and the most built-in looking option, so it would look like the rest of all your cabinets, is option A, which is right here where my cursor is. We're looking at that right now. That involves putting 3 separate glide outs in it. One of them will be 12 inches high at least on the front, and then the sides would be 7 inches. And this would allow you to put your big spaghetti pot and your other big pot and any other large items you have in that glide out. It'll have a drawer front face, so it looks just like the drawers over here to the right of your stove. The next one above it will be about 8 inches, and the one above that will be 8 inches as well. So that's what these will look like. And this is using ShelfGenie glide outs with method drawer fronts. Carl will also put a kick plate down here at the bottom and build in a floor below this glide out right here, and that'll keep dirt and dust and everything from getting into that space. It also will provide extra stability for your cabinet once you get everything loaded in to it. All right, so that's the quote A option. That's the we like want to have everything done. Then quote letter C. Actually, we are going to do the kick plate. We'll do the floor. You can see it right here behind the glide out to give the cabinet stability. Once you load everything up, then we just have single high glide outs placed spaced out perfectly for your different pots and pan heights, and it'll just be completely open. This is using the designer white glide outs, and even though my computer shows it with side rails, they'll actually have undermount rails. And so that would be quote C. Quote D is the same thing, but giving you double high glide outs. This does a couple different things. It allows you to store things that might be a little looser and may fall forward as the glide outs go back and forth. And it kind of gives it a more finished look because there's not as much open space. So it'll hide some of the things that you have stored in the glide outs, and it won't be quite as visible. So now let's go over the quotes, and so you have an idea of the pricing for each one. Because Method is a separate company, that is a separate quote. I mean, they're all part of ShelfGenie of Cleveland, but we have to bill it separately because it's a separate its own little entity. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so this is quote A. This is for the Method drawer fronts and all the glide outs we discussed. These would be the classic glide outs to the left of the stove and the classic glide outs with the Method drawer fronts to the right of the refrigerator. For the glide outs themselves, materials will be $24.51.92. Labor is $385.70, but you have a 50% off installation coupon from the Pittsburgh Home and Garden Show that Matt gave you, and that takes off $192.85. Delivery charges for these to be shipped up from North Carolina or Arizona, depending on which facility they're made in, will be $283.76. So the total for the glide outs themselves will be fully installed would be $29.28.53. Now, to add the Method on top of that, this would be the drawer fronts. This is that quote. So drawer front full face 200 millimeters gray, $500. Drawer front full face 200 millimeters gray, $500. Drawer front full face 300 millimeters tall gray, $500. So subtotal would be $1,500, but because you're doing it with ShelfGenie, they have a combination discount that takes off $300. So the product total would be $1,200 for the drawer front faces. So when you add that together, the $29.28.53 plus the $1,200, the total for that job would be $41.28.53. Now, each of these quotes, before I go into the second one, I want to explain it. Obviously, you have your information up at the top. Here's my information and how to contact me. The financial breakdown we just talked about right here under order summary. If you go to the left, you'll see order options. These are how the two different cabinets are priced out for just the ShelfGenie part of it, not counting the discount that you see right here. I don't know why the computer doesn't figure it out over on this side, but that's how it works. Then the second page is everything that we would order for you. So right of sink lower glide out is a double 515 millimeters. Right of sink upper glide out, a single 515 millimeters. The C stands for classic. The unit, those are just our codes to know if it's a double high classic. BM stands for birch melamine bottom. That's that scratch resistant melamine bottom we were talking about in the appointment. The rails are full extension rails. So then we have right of sink upper is a single 515 millimeters. Then right of fridge lower we have triple glide out 810 millimeters across, classic. And then I have a note here to make this 1 inch from the back because of the plugs, so we don't hit your plug. Right of fridge middle, I'm not sure why those are capital letters, but right of fridge middle, we have a double 810 millimeters. Right of fridge upper, we have another double 810 millimeters. Then right of fridge, we have the mounting cleats to mount the upper glide outs. And then right of fridge, we're going to do the cabinet floor as well. Now here down at the bottom, you'll see the drawer insert right of fridge. This is not on the quote, and you can tell because there's not an X right there. Then the last page is the terms and conditions. These are things that we are responsible to do for you, and your right to cancel the order within 3 days of your order going in. Okay? All right. So now let's go into the second quote. The second quote is the same as the first quote, but we are adding that drawer insert of the right sink because you wanted to know how much it would be just for that insert, just for your informational purposes. So that insert, you can see, is $196.85. So the total then for materials for the ShelfGenie part would be $2605.81, $410.76 for labor, but they take off $205.38 with the 50% off home and garden coupon. Then delivery would be $301.66 for a total of $3112.85 for the ShelfGenie products. And then, of course, this is the quote for the solution to be used with method drawer fronts. So we would add the $1,200 for the drawer fronts to that quote, which would give you a total of $4312.85. All right, so now this next one, quote number C. Quote number C is for this cabinet right here. You can see the center one that I'm kind of swirling the little circle over. This is the one for the 3 single high white designer series glide outs with the scoops and the undermount rails, and also building the floor for stability for your cabinet. And that quote looks like this. Materials $2775.60, labor $438.40. Then we take off $219.20 for the discount for the 50% off installation, and then delivery $321.40. So the grand total for that option would be $3316.20. Now for the last option. The last option, quote number D, is for this cabinet right here at the very end. It's the same thing. It's the open cabinet to the right of the stove, where we're going to build a kick plate and a floor for you to stabilize the cabinet. And then we're going to put in 3 designer white glide outs. These just happen to be double high to give your items a little more stability so they're not falling out because there's no drawer front, and also to hide some of the things that are inside. And for this cabinet, the quote looks like this. All right, so we have materials are $2878.60, labor $455.16, but again with the coupon for 50% off installation. This takes off $227.58. Delivery is $333.38 with a discount, with a total of $3439.55. All right, so those are the totals and the 4 different quotes. One more thing I thought I could mention, that if you decided you did not want to do the method drawer front, but you didn't like the spaces here on these glide outs, you thought, I don't want to see all that stuff in there, we can make them a little larger, and I can do another quote for that if you like. You just let me know. We can make it look something like this, and then we can make these larger as well. But you're still going to have some space that you see in between them. It might not be a whole lot, but you are going to be able to see into the cabinet. So if you wanted to match the rest of your kitchen and have that nice finished look that the rest of your kitchen has, that's all brand new, I would recommend the method solution. It is a little bit more money, but then it'll look exactly like everything else, and it'll look exactly like your drawers that are right on the other side of the kitchen, right to the right of your stove, right here. So, but those are all the options. You can let me know either by email, text, or phone what you would like to do, or if you want me to make any changes or any adjustments, let me know that as well. If you have any questions about the quote, if something didn't make sense to you, please let me know. I'd be glad to help and adjust that to anything else. The last thing I wanted to say was, I remember the things that we talked about in these cabinets, your upper cabinets here, about putting the biggest things on the top and the middle-sized items in the middle and the smallest items in the bottom, so you can lower those shelves and you can access them a lot easier. And the other thing was around your garbage can pull out here, that if you moved it over a little bit and installed a piece of wood, then you can put your cookie sheets and your racks and your other things to the right or left of the garbage can, and it would keep them clean and they wouldn't get dirty from the garbage going in and out. Okay? All right. Well, I hope this was a lot of information. So thank you for listening to all this, and I hope that I was able to answer all your questions. Please let me know if I can help you in any other way, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.